Buenas tardes muchachos, ¿qué tal? Aquí tienen las instrucciones a la actividad D en la página 155 de tu libro de ejercicios Guided Workbook pages 155 and 156. For part D, you are to look at the scene of a family gathering and to express what is happening using the imperfect tense of the verbs provided in parentheses. Now, you can look these up on Slater, as many of you are aware and attempt to do, and to be quite frank with you, I won't know as to whether or not you've copied these answers or whether you've done them honestly. To be clear, even if you make mistakes, you get full credit. I'll say that one more time. Even if you get the answers wrong, I will give you full credit for having done it honestly, for having done your best effort. So as long as you answer each of these to the best of your ability, you guys have everything you need. You have textbook page 194. None of these verbs are irregular, except for the first one, and that one's already done for you. All these other verbs are regular, and you can find how to conjugate these on page 194. And it'll set you up for the final assignment, which we'll talk about today, or if we don't have time at the beginning of next week. So do it honestly. You're not penalized for doing anything wrong. And matter of fact, I'm going to incentivize you for doing it honestly. In this paragraph, there are 3 references to, how can I say it? 3 context clues, we'll put it that way. 3 context clues that call for the imperfect. 3 references to time, things happening habitually or repeatedly in the past. There are 3 references to time in here. Some of them are a little bit more explicit, some of them a bit more subtle. But see if you can identify those 3 references to time, underline them, and I'll give you a bonus point, extra credit, for those 3 context clues. References to repeated actions in the past, not happening just once, but over a longer period of time. Now, in terms of the conjugations, again, page 194 would be the place to go to, and you're probably wondering how to do these verbs that end in se, like reunirse, llevarse, divertirse, reírse. Of course, you guys could use Spanish Dictionary. You know that by now. You can go to Spanish Dictionary. You can look up those verbs. For example, reunirse. This is Slater here, by the way. If you want to look up the answers, it's right here. But I encourage you not to do that. Try it on your own. See what you're capable of. You may surprise yourself. Spanish Dictionary, I'm going to put reunirse in there. And if you want to double check, right? You can go here to the Conjugation tab. And you can see how it's conjugated in whatever tense you're looking for. The imperfect is what we're using for this particular homework. So there you have your conjugations. What makes reunirse and other what we call reflexive verbs, right? These are reflexive verbs. They're reciprocal actions shared or done amongst people, is that they have reflexive pronouns at the beginning. They conjugate like any regular AR, ER, or IR verb, right? You can see the endings there. Take a look on page 194. Take a look at the ER, IR endings on page 194. Ia, ias, ia, iamos, ian. Regular endings, yeah? What makes reflexive verbs tricky is that you have those reflexive pronouns at the beginning. Me, te, se, nos, and se. You want to add that at the very beginning, whereas you don't need to add the reflexive pronoun for some of these other verbs. That's why there's 2 spaces there, right? You can see that for these verbs, there's 2 spaces there. First space is for the reflexive pronoun. Second space is for the conjugation. Do your best. And again, 194 and page 80 if you want to see for those reflexive pronouns that I was just referring to. You can use page 80 of the textbook to see what that grammar looks like. And again, don't forget 3 context clues for the imperfect, 3 references to repeated actions in the past. Those are bonus points. All you need to do is underline them. Underline them, circle them, highlight them, make them stand out, and I will give you a bonus point for those 3. Part E is excellent practice for how we use the imperfect and the preterite together. This is what we talked about today. And so for this particular exercise, you're going to circle the action that was taking place in the description. So you're going to circle the imperfect conjugation. Again, endings are on page 194. Aba, abas, aba, abamos, aban for your AR verbs. You can see there hablar is in the imperfect. So we're going to circle that. And then the verb that's in the preterite, you're going to underline. Empezó. Empezó is a preterite, regular preterite ending, and you can find those on page 110. Circle imperfect, underline preterite. Circle imperfect, underline preterite. It's the name of the game, and sometimes they'll be opposite, right? Sometimes you'll get the preterite first and the imperfect second. There's no strict order. We can have them flip-flop, so don't be confused. Don't always be looking for the imperfect at the beginning. They can go in either order. All right, do your best with that. Again, you're not penalized for getting anything wrong. You give me full effort, I give you full credit. It's that simple. Any questions, come in during tutorial, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 2 to 3. Heaven forbid, ask a question during class. That would be great if you were to ask a question during class. I think that's probably the best time to ask a question for sure. So this is your homework, ejercicio D y E en las páginas 155 y 156. And don't forget, if you're going to copy, definitely make sure you're going to copy the correct pages, and don't do the core side. Like, that's embarrassing that not only you would copy, but also copy the wrong pages. But I encourage you again, give me your best effort. We're almost done. We have 2.5 weeks left. This is your last homework assignment for the academic year. Enjoy.